Hello everyone, welcome. So today we will discuss about human health and diseases. So what do we mean by health? Health, it is a state of body and mind where there is a complete balance of certain humors. Okay, so now this is what early Greeks like Hippocrates as well as Indian Ayurveda system of medicine asserted. It was thought that persons with black bile belonged to hot personality and would have fevers. This idea was arrived at by pure reflective thought. The discovery of blood circulation by William Harvey using experimental methods and demonstrations of normal body temperature in persons with black bile using thermometer disapproved the good humor hypothesis of health. In later years, biology stated that mind influences through neural system and endocrine system our immune system, and that our immune system maintains our health. Hence, mind and mental state can affect our health. Of course, the health is affected by various other factors like genetic disorders. So, this is a deficiencies which is by inborn in the child, infections, and the lifestyle like food, water, rest, all these things. The term health is very frequent and is being used by everyone. So it is defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. When people are healthy, they are more efficient at work. This increases productivity and brings economic prosperity. Health also increases longevity of people and reduces infant and maternal mortality. So, what are the things which are important for health is balanced diet, personal hygiene, and regular exercises. These are very important. Yoga has been practiced since time immemorial to achieve physical and mental health. Awareness of diseases and to achieve physical and mental health. Awareness about diseases and their effect on different bodily functions, vaccinations against diseases, proper disposal of waste, control of vectors, maintenance of hygiene in food, and water resources are necessarily for achieving good health. When the functioning of one or more organs or systems of the body is adversely affected, characterized by appearance of various signs and symptoms, we say that we are not healthy. That is, we have a disease. Disease can be broadly grouped into infectious and non infectious diseases. Diseases which are transmitted from one person to another is called infectious disease, and infectious disease are very common and every one of us suffers from these at some time or other. Some of the infectious diseases like AIDS are fatal. Among non-infectious diseases, cancer can be a major cause of death. So we are talking about some very common diseases in human beings. So a wide range of organisms belonging to bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoans, helminths, etc. could cause disease in man. Such diseases causing organisms, they are called as pathogens. So one of the important definition you have here is what is pathogen. So most parasites are therefore pathogens as they cause harm to the host by living in on them. The pathogens can enter our body through various means, multiply, interfere with the normal vital activities, resulting in morphological and functional damage. Pathogens have to adapt to life within the environment of the host. For example, pathogens that enter the gut must know a way of surviving in the stomach at a low pH and resisting the various digestive surviving enzymes. A few representatives member from different groups of pathogens will be discussed further. Okay, let us one of them we can talk about a Salmonella typhi, which is a pathogenic bacterium. So Salmonella typhi is a pathogenic bacterium which causes typhoid. Now these pathogens, they generally enter into the small intestine through food and water. So how they enter is through food and water contaminated with them, and they migrate to the organs through blood. Sustained, what are the symptoms? There is a sustained fever, weakness, stomach pain, constipation, headache, and loss of appetite. Intestinal perforations and death may occur in severe cases. Typhoid fever could be confirmed by Weddell test. So, what is Weddell test? As a classic case in medicine, that Mary Mallon, nicknamed as Typhoid Mary, is worth mentioning here. She was a cook by profession and was a typhoid carrier who continued to spread typhoid for several years through the food she prepared. Bacteria like Streptococcus pneumonia and Haemophilus influenza, so Streptococcus pneumonia and Haemophilus influenza, they are responsible for pneumonia in humans, which infect the alveoli of the lungs. As a result, the alveoli get filled with fluid, leading to severe problems in respiration. So the symptoms of pneumonia include fever, chills, cough, headache, all those things. In severe cases, lips and fingernails may turn gray or to bluish in color. A healthy person acquires this infection by inhaling the droplets across released by an infected person, or even by sharing the utensils or sharing glasses. So dysentery, plague, diphtheria, etc., some of the bacterial diseases that we have in man. Then there are many viral diseases, right? Like we have the rhinovirus, which represents one of the groups of virus which cause most of the infection human ailments like the common cold. So they infect the nose and the respiratory passage but not the lungs. The common cold is characterized by nasal congestion is there, and there is a discharge, sore throat, hoarseness, cough, headache, etc. This lasts for 3 to 7 days, and droplets resulting from cough or sneeze of an infected person are either inhaled or directly or transmitted through contaminated objects such as pen, books, when you share the pen, books, etc. Okay. Then we have some of the human diseases which is caused by protozoa, and one of the most common one we know is malaria, which is caused so it has a fighting since many years, and Plasmodium, that is a tiny protozoan which is responsible for this disease. There are species of Plasmodium like Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malaria, Plasmodium falciparum are responsible for different types of malaria. Of these, malignant malaria caused by Plasmodium falciparum is the most serious one and even can be fatal. So once we look at here, we see how is the life cycle of malarial protozoa, which is the Plasmodium. So if you see here, we have a mosquito which is biting, another human, and there are sporozoites are injected with the bite. So once the sporozoites are injected, these sporozoites will enter into the liver through the bulb. So when it enters in the liver, what happened? The parasites will reproduce asexually in the liver and bursting out the cells, releasing out the blood. So once this blood is being released out, this parasite, they reproduce asexually in the RBCs, resulting in red blood cells and causing cycles of fever and other symptoms. Released parasites infect new red blood cells. So after this, what happened? There is a sexual stage or gametocytes which produced, which develop in red blood cells. Okay, so you have male and a female, and then there is a gametocyte is being produced. Okay, so the female mosquitoes, what they will do? They will take up this gametocytes with the blood material, and then there is a fertilization and development will take place in mosquito's gut. And now here what is happening in this phase, mosquito is being the host. Okay, then after that, once this happens, fertilization happens, so there are the sporocytes and there is the salivary glands which is there. So mature infective stages, which is the sporocytes, they escape from the gut and migrate to the mosquito salivary glands, and again the cycle keeps on repeating. This is how the cycle of mosquito works. Then another disease we have is amoebiasis, which is caused by Entamoeba histolytica. Okay, so this is also a protozoan parasite and in the large intestine of the human. Symptoms of this disease are constipation, abdominal pain and cramps, stools with excess mucus and blood clots. Houseflies act as mechanical carriers and serve to transmit the parasite from feces of infected person to food and food particles products, thereby contaminating them. Drinking water and food contaminated by fecal matter are main source of infection. Next we have Ascaris. Ascaris is caused by parasite Ascariasis. Okay, so here we have Ascaris, the common roundworm or the Wuchereria, the filarial worm, are some of the helminths which are known as pathogenic. So Ascaris, an intestinal parasite, causes ascariasis, and symptoms of these disease include internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, and blockage of intestinal passage. The eggs of the parasites are excreted along with the feces of infected person, which contaminates soil, water, plants, etc. Wuchereria, the strains like Wuchereria bancrofti and Wuchereria malai, the filarial worms, cause a slowly developing chronic inflammation of the organs in which they live for many years, usually the lymphatic vessels of the lower limbs, and disease is called elephantiasis, which is filariasis. Okay, so here what happens, the genital organs, they are often affected, resulting in gross deformities. The pathogen are transmitted to a healthy person through the bite of a female mosquito vector. Many fungi belonging to the genera of Microsporum, Trichopython and Epidermopython are responsible for ringworms, which is one of the most common infectious diseases in men. Appearance of dry, scaly lesions on various parts of the body, such as skin, nails, scalp, are main symptoms of the disease. So lesions are accompanied by intense itching. Heat and moisture help these fungi to grow, which makes them thrive in the skin folds, such as those in the groin or between the toes. Maintenance of personal and public hygiene is very important for prevention and control of many infectious diseases. Measures for personal hygiene include keeping the body clean, consumption of clean drinking water, food, vegetables, fruits, etc. Public hygiene includes proper disposal of waste and excreta, periodic cleaning and disinfection of waste reservoirs, pools, cesspools, and tanks, and observing standard practices of hygiene in public catering. These measures are particularly essential where the infectious agents are transmitted through food and water, such as typhoid, amoebiasis, and ascariasis. In cases of airborne diseases such as pneumonia and common cold, in addition to the above measures, close contact with infected person or their belongings should be avoided. For diseases such as malaria, filariasis, that are transmitted through insect vectors, the most important measure is to control or eliminate the vectors and their breeding places. This can be achieved by avoiding stagnation of water in and around residential areas. Regular cleaning of household coolers, use of mosquito nets, introducing fishes like gambusia in the pond that feed on mosquito larvae, spraying insecticides in ditches, drainage areas and swamps, etc. In addition, doors and windows should be provided with wire mesh to prevent the entry of mosquitoes. Such precautions have become more important, especially in the light of the recent widespread incidences of vector-borne diseases like dengue, chikungunya in many parts of India. The advancement made in biological science have armed us to effectively deal with many infectious diseases. The use of vaccines and immunization programs have enabled us to completely eradicate a deadly disease like smallpox. A large number of other infectious diseases like polio, diphtheria, pneumonia, and tetanus have been controlled to a large extent by the use of vaccines. Biotechnology is at the verge of making available newer and safe vaccines. Discovery of antibiotics and various other drugs have also enabled us to effectively treat infectious diseases.